Yo, what's up, guys? So this is going to be my first video here on my channel, and I'm going to be going over the player DeAndre Swift and why the Chicago Bears, I think personally, are going to struggle short term this season in the run game, and what occurred last night of why they weren't able to run the ball versus the Minnesota Vikings. I think it was a combination of DeAndre Swift and their offensive line, and also later in the video, I think there is a conservative play call that Brian Flores ends up taking advantage in the second half of the game. All right, guys, so I'm going to get right into it here. And partially why I think DeAndre Swift is a poor runner is I think he's a very non-patient player in the run game. On zone, you got to be a pretty patient player. You're reading leverage. You're reacting to players reacting to you. So I always tell my guys that, hey, listen, like they are reacting to you. So whatever you're going to do, they're going to do. You decide what they do, okay? And I also think, like, from a player that has been in two really good offenses that have ran the ball production-wise to get rid of you, I think there is something very telling there. That I think he tries to, like, the O-line has to be perfect on every run he has, okay? So I think he's a very see-hole, go-hole guy, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to go into the first play here. So the first play we're going to get is a pitch zone. So I'm not in the meeting room, but as you can see, these guys are double teaming. They're going to work up, stepping left, stepping left, stepping left. Okay, they're sealing this, okay? And as you can see here, there's a reason why they're sealing this backside A gap. Now, why is that? Because on zone, usually, the way I teach it, I'm telling players, listen, like we're reading front C to backside A, okay? Look at how he does this here. So it looks pretty bad on the sideline view. I think it's even worse on the end zone view that this goes for 3 yards, okay? He's not reading leverage of defenders, and he's not also just like he's just seeing a hole and going to the hole. So watch this here. They end up hitting this play later in the game with a lead blocker through the A gap to say, hey, hit this, please. Like, hit this, please. So, again, I'm not in their meeting room or anything like that. But the linebacker here is more on the front play side here. So I think Ben Johnson's thinking the reason they're not going to do the lead blocker thing like they do later in the game is because this pitch action is just going to get him flowing play side anyway, and they're going to be able to seal off these 3 guys here. So I'm going to let the play develop here. All right, so right here I would be almost squaring my body and reacting to leverage here. He doesn't see full leverage where John Allen is probably going to make the play here. Cole Kmet's ass is kind of saying run behind me to the backside. This guy kind of has leverage out here. Van Ginkel is going to seal off this Foley here. And he just doesn't see John Allen's leverage right here. So what he does is he's going to run right into John Allen. So he one cuts into this hole here and gets tackled by 3 people. Okay. Well, I feel like that is just awful by us. Like, John Allen does a great job of flowing with the play side in zone and beating Thuney to where he's got to go. But in my opinion here, and I'm going to show you guys examples of other running backs where they're going to square themselves and jump cut into holes. And I think this is a really easy play to do that on. I think you're pressing leverage, making these guys go this way, and getting through this gap here. There's a reason why they're sealing this off, man. There is a reason for that. So that's the first play. I'm like, wow, how did we get 3 yards on that right there? So the next play I'm going to go to is a couple seconds later. So this might be the play right after. So they got a one tech over here. They're going to run counter Y here. So it's a guard Y counter with the Y. So it's a guard and Y. Counter here. You're going to see by the blocks of these guys here. So I'm going to run the play run out, down block, double team. They'll work up here, okay? So Darnell Wright is going to work down here, seal off this guy, because they're like, okay, well, the play side linebacker is going to fill this hole, which is going to be met by Kmet. Thuney's going to meet their overhang and get Van Ginkel. We're going to get doubles on the guys that could affect the play here and work up to the backside guys that might be scraping our counter, okay? So realistically, you could read this in two ways. So in counter, again, I kind of read it like we're going play side. We'll and you pick the leverage hole. So what he does here is there's a reason why these guys are getting down blocks, because we can kick these guys out. We have very big belief, I think, in the coaching room that we're going to be able to kick out Van Ginkel. We're going to be able to kick out this guy with Loveland. But what he does here is it gets a little muggy for him, and he doesn't see that Jonah Jackson, who in my game watching this played a very poor game, like a very, very poor game, gets beat here. So this play, I thought, like, again, it's hard for the offensive line to play perfect. It is a unit. Every guy has to be executing at one cost. But again, you can't be perfect every single play. So watch this here. Run motion. Okay, so he's seeing this, right? He's seeing, okay, this guy's flowing over here probably. This guy's flowing here. I can get this backside gap. Look at Kmet's ass, right? He's not going to give me this leverage outside, right? But he just doesn't recognize that John Allen right here dominated on his rep, right? Like, he dominated Jonah Jackson. So, partially it's Jonah Jackson's fault. DeAndre Swift doesn't pay any attention to it at all. He sees, okay, we might not have leverage out here. And gets a 2-yard gain on a run where I'm like, well, our play side counter looked pretty good. Like look at Kmet do a job here. It's your job to set up the block as well. So if this guy's looking at you and you square yourself here and then jump cut out, he's reacting to you. Look at his eyes. He's reacting to you. And you didn't even recognize John Allen beat Jonah Jackson here. And I feel like I take my chance on 26. Loveland. Look at Loveland. Great job here. Does a great job here. Cole Kmet doesn't have full leverage here, but he still has to go through Loveland to get to you. And Joe Thuney does a great job of standing up Van Ginkel. And it's us versus 26. And we just don't recognize that John Allen dominated his rep backside and Jonah Jackson lost his rep. We just didn't comprehend that at all, and we run right into it. So another run where I'm like, geez, we're not even reading the entire play out. We're kind of reading one gap and going and reacting to it. So here it is. So this is the play I was talking about. This is now 1:18 left. This is going to be the same pitch zone action where, they are over here. So now I think this is very reactive to the way they're playing. I think when we run this now, they're seeing, okay, we're stepping zone, right? And I think the way they now see this is this guy was over here. This guy was on their play side last time, so he's not on the strength that they're going to go to. So he's like, okay, so he might not fully go with the zone pitch here like he did on the first time. So they're like, let's introduce a guy lead blocking through this hole because we're going to double seal this guy off, okay? So watch here. We're going to run it out. And look it. They're like, okay, so obviously he can't read. Like, he's like, go, please, go through this. Like, we have it blocked for this. And he just hits it no matter what. But what he didn't see, now that you're going to see from the end zone view, is one of his linemen lost leverage here on zone. Running the ball isn't like reactionary to like you're hitting one gap, but that's the gap you're doing, okay? You got to understand people reacting to you. You got to understand players lose leverage in certain ways, and it's your job to fix that, or you can potentially help them. That's what makes the great backs, right? Watch. Squares himself. Doesn't care that this guy is going to have leverage here. I think he is looking straight here. I think he is looking at the linebacker. Which gap is he picking? So if he thinks that he had a higher chance of getting over here, he's just going to follow Dunze. But he doesn't see this guy lose leverage right here, okay? Squares. Does not have a care in the world that Darnell Wright here lost leverage. Guess who makes the play? Number 15, Dallas Turner. And, whatchamacallit over here does a great job of pushing Thuney into this hole. They make it smaller. But again, look at it like how choppy his feet are in this. Like, it's not even look at that is just gross in my opinion. Like, you didn't even recognize this. And look at Kmet. Kmet's job obviously was, if he does come this way, you're gonna go pick him up, and if he doesn't, we're going to go get a safety and it's one-on-one here, right? That's in my opinion what he's looking at here, because watch. So I'm going to go run it full play speed. Watch how good Komet, like, he's reacting to 51. Okay, double. Okay, sees him. He goes, okay, make that play. I'm now looking over here, right? And I just think DeAndre Swift just makes the job so hard for his offensive line here. And it just is they got to play almost perfect. And I think the 3 runs I just showed, there's no way those entitled for a total gain of 7 yards. I wouldn't believe it. I would be so pissed as a coach if those were my play calls and those totaled for 7 yards total. So, again, here's another play here. I think there's a little confusion here. This guy drop steps. So he might think it's they should be pulling here. These guys are zone blocking. These guys are like down block. Like he didn't even get out of his stance. They're just like down blocking. And this is what I'm talking about, losing leverage or not understanding leverage, I guess, enough to be able to set up his blockers. You'll see from the end zone view. Yes, Joe Thuney does not have a good rep here. If he's wrong, maybe he's wrong. Maybe he was like, oh shit, no one's gonna pick him up, so I have to. So he does lose the rep, right? But what in the world does this tell you that says I'm going to, like, he's going to get caught for a hold if we do cut this back, because look at the leverage of this guy. Now, I'm not saying that he did this wrong. I think partially, like, look at, he's like almost like surprised that this guy just made the tackle right here. Like, and we couldn't get out of our feet. Like, look how much look how much choppiness we have to our game. Like, guys that jump cut are one jump and they're going. He's so choppy, and he doesn't even care that the leverage of this would be here, right? So I'm not saying he's wrong. I think it was just a little miscue. I just think it shows something where I don't know if he's fully comprehending the leverage in the run here. So I'm going to now show you a little bit of 2 different backs here. I love J.K. Dobbins. He's been one of my favorite. I think without injury concerns, he'd be a bell cow for someone else. So as you can see, they're going to run zone. They're stepping left here. The double, step left, get to the second level. Double, step left, get to the second level. Step left. They're going to let this guy come free here. They're going to isolate him. They're going to go block this guy. Fullback. Everyone's accounted for. Okay? So now, watch what happens here. So the play is obviously zone. So he's reading, like, here. He ends up jumping it back in here. Watch how late he does. Watch how late he presses and jump cuts. It's bang, out. Okay, there's no choppiness to the feet. Okay, it's way more impressive on the end zone cam, I promise you. Watch this. Okay, and you're gonna see how he's reading this too. He understands the leverage way more than we saw from DeAndre Swift. So got a little choppy right there. Okay, we're back. Okay, handoff. Look at this. Okay. This guy's got leverage right here. This guy's got leverage right here. This guy's got leverage right here, okay? This guy's now reading him, probably, right? Like, this guy is now reading him, so I can go out. He might engage in the block there, because 69 might make the play there, okay? Watch what he does. Look how fluent that was. We're able to get skinny through a hole and explode off of guys that are flat-footed for a touchdown. Like, in my opinion, that is just so impressive to me that he can't do that, right? And we just go score for a touchdown, right? So, we go back to the end zone cam, do it here again. But this is just such an impressive run. And his offensive line doesn't have to be perfect. They lost leverage to the run side. Like, the defense does a great job. And we're just able to stay skinny and explode through a hole where people are flat-footed. And I'll give you a little bit of another. You could just tell the differences in people's game. At the end, they're going to go, like, could be a counter. I mean, this guy's down blocking. This guy kind of isn't really, could be more of like a dive. I don't know, but they're getting, like, could be a little bit duo. I don't know. They're getting split flow action. So if you guys can tell me how they're kind of blocking this, I just know that this guy's down to create this. So, and they're double teaming. So it could be like a duo split, right? Something like that. And now they're going to run the play. Watch how he reacts, though. I'm more talking about how late he's able to square himself and jump cut. There's no choppiness in that at all. Watch from the end zone view. He knows that the linebackers behind the line, behind their defensive line, are reacting to him. He's pressing as long as he can. He's pressing. Look at presses. Okay, it's pretty muggy. I know this guy's gonna get blocked by our seal guy. Okay. I'm going to square, jump cut. These guys have no chance, man, because he's not instantly going that way. He's squaring himself, and they're reacting to him, and they're just late to the party because he's so explosive off that jump cut. So, yeah, just two guys there in NTN and J.K. Dobbins that might show a little more different athleticism than DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift, I think, is a more better gap runner, screen guy when you get him out in the open field. I just don't know if he has the explosiveness that I'm looking for a guy that needs patience to run the ball. So now I'm going to show you guys here what I saw late in this game here with Ben Johnson. I think he got way too conservative, and you can tell, okay? So this is a little bit different, but as you can tell, this is probably a reason why they had a hard time running at the end of the game. So watch. I've never seen a player straight line this like this on a 1st and 10. I get these guys, you're down 11. You need to make plays. But this is a great job by, the defensive coaching staff to go, we don't even care. We know he's going to be conservative as shit in this situation. And it also could be a poor coached game by Ben Johnson as in terms of he got too conservative up, right? Watch this guy straight line this, okay? So usually what you're taught on zone when you're free, you angle it and you square yourself. So you got the quarterback, and then you can also still make the play on the running back potentially, right? You're going to see Jonah Jackson has a hard time on this rep too. He also makes it harder for himself as well. But watch this guy straight line this. He's trying to beat him to the where he's supposed to go. Like, he's straight lining this. This is insane to me. That he didn't care in the world. I get it's a pitch, so maybe he saw the ball. But you're going to be like, okay. And look at this, by the way. Naturally, if your leverage is like this, you would cut this quickly in. And he just didn't. Choppy. Grenard makes the play backside. So you're like, okay, maybe it's because it was a pitch, right? Watch this. This is now on a 1st and 5. I get they get 5 yards on it. But this is just standard outside zone here. Or look at. He is straight lining an outside zone right now. This is not even a pitch. He's straight lining this. So they get 5 yards on this. Which I do get cool. But this is. He's here. He is here. Thankfully, we blocked pretty damn well to seal the edge defender off here. To go get 5. But, like, he is there. And I'm like, okay. Maybe they're taught that. Maybe, that's just not how it works in my opinion when you're an unblocked defender. So I get it's a different situation, but I think that just shows how conservative you got. Because once we go to the Niners game here, the Seahawks are up. Okay, I get that. Boye Mafe is a pretty impressive DN. He's an athletic freak for his size and what he plays. But watch how he even plays this. Okay, so they're gonna alert. They're gonna go to like an outside zone here. Look at how he's not straight lining this. He could easily, if he was straight lining this, he would run right off the ass at 68 and go try to make this play. But watch what he does. He angles himself and squares. Okay? And can't make the play backside. I just think that shows how conservative Ben Johnson was at the end of the game. And, the Vikings did a great job of, telling their guys, hey, straight line it now. Or maybe if even the players decided to react in that situation like that. So that's kind of my first YouTube video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm 22 years old, so I'm trying to still learn more about the sport, of course. I've been coaching it for 4 years now, straight out of high school. I've called plays. I've worked with offensive line, quarterbacks, receivers. So I kind of want to give my thoughts out there. And as well, I'm a professional Madden player, so coming up, even playing the sport and stuff like that, my view of the game has been a little different. So that's kind of just my thoughts on, DeAndre Swift and why the Bears kind of struggled to run the ball against the Vikings.